Welcome to the REITE Club podcast, where the focus is on helping you, the real estate investor, advance to the next level. And now let's join this week's hosts and share ways for you to customize your life.
When it comes time for them to get the mortgage, we don't have time to go through everything. I'd rather have them prepared. So that's why that initial discovery call is critical. And during that time, I'll also then send them what I need from them, which most people, it doesn't matter where I'm taking, what lender I'm going to. You're always going to need an application. So get that out of the way. Let's put that, get it done. Have your consent ready for to pull your credit. I am not pulling credit on people until it's time. Okay. But again, so that we're prepared. Documents that you need. And for anyone listening that's new to this space, it's not near as involved as it is with the banks. In many cases, all I need sometimes is just your notice of assessments. But I also need to show a lender that you can service the loan. We need to see that you have the capability to pay the monthly payments. Okay, and so that's again why I want to have the discussion up front, because if you can't do that, we need to kind of pivot and go, okay, then I'm not going to take you to lender A. Let's look at lender B, because I know all these different lenders, what they'll allow. Other things that they'll need. Sometimes we'll need an appraisal on properties, and sometimes we don't. So that's something that in that initial discussion, knowing what they're doing, where they're looking at. But let's face it, if they're doing ones that are going to have bidding wars, which I don't know any that aren't now, they have to be prepared up front. So even if it means you don't have a property, we book a discovery call so that I can get to know you, you get to know me to see where I can help.
Absolutely.
And sorry.
No, that's okay. So you mentioned deals. You're mentioning that you're seeing some great deals. I mean, like Alfonso said, and I agree, there's always deals to be had. I'm just curious though, so you're seeing lots of deals come through. Are you seeing them often just off market, like people canvassing themselves, buying from wholesalers? When you're seeing these awesome deals, obviously on MLS, there's 10, 20, 30 deals or offers per property right now. What are you seeing?
Well, I am seeing both. But I'll be honest, I'm seeing a lot through realtors, because a lot of people are looking for that lower price at the beginning instead of looking at how they can increase the price, give the lift on the property. There's one that just recently was done. I forget what they paid. I think $490 for it. $490. And they turned around, and in the end, they didn't even end up doing renos, and had their realtor put it right back on the market, and they made $170,000.
Amazing.
But we could spend the whole time going through the deals if I had them all, lined up to show you the numbers. But then I have clients that are getting frustrated because they're putting offers in. We're going through them beforehand. They're ready to pull the trigger, and then somebody scoops them out from under them because of the bidding war. But the biggest thing that I try and show people is, let's look at the highest price you can go in with and still make a profit. And we need to run those numbers together, to really look at it closely. And some people are still nervous to push that. And then they're frustrated because they didn't win the bid. It's like, well, you got to know. There's one right now that I'm actually looking at. It's listed for $799. I believe it, and I'm just researching it right now, and it's in Burlington. So it's that's unrealistic. My guess is it's going to go well over $1 million, but it's the after repair value that right now I'm researching. It's okay, will it go to 1.4 or 1.5? You just, and knowing all your numbers before you even go in. But they're out there still, and they're not just through wholesalers.
So for all those that are looking at this and saying, okay, great, yeah, that's the list price. It's going to be going way over asking the after repair value. When is private money not a good idea? I'm sure you've had plenty of people come across your desk and you're like, listen, we'd love to do this deal, but this is not the best option for you. There are other options or better sources of funds out there. Can you give us some examples of, because some people are really lining up and ready to go and say, hey, I can get this private money, but when are the time that we should not be looking at
Well,
private money?
the main time that I'm seeing is that for the person, and like you say, they're anxious, they just want to buy the deal, and they are not doing their behind the scenes homework like they should be. So when I run all those numbers and throw them at them, they go, oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, I didn't think of that. So I'm thinking, if they had jumped into this without getting another person's view on it prior to, getting it under contract, they'd have lost their shirt. So there are times, definitely not to, that private money won't work. Another thing when it won't work, for the person, like Sarah asked a few minutes ago, if somebody only had $50,000, could they do it? Yes, they could, and there's ways we can look at it. But the person that literally has no money and wants to try and get in, private money probably won't work for them if they're doing it all by themselves. Because you have to have some skin in the game still.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. I mean,
that's when a joint venture partner could be an option, right? If they have a great deal that for whatever reason is not on the MLS, like off market, or they've canvassed it and talked to the seller directly, that's probably your best bet to get in there. So many times you see all of these like US mostly like videos of all the rah about like how to get, started with none of your own money and be rich quick. Like that is really, really, really difficult. And it's never get rich quick. It's usually over a lot of years.
Yeah. And I mean, actually, it's funny. I get these calls all the time. I just had one this afternoon. This gentleman, he's getting the property with a vendor take back. The seller is going to put up 80%, and he's calling me for the last 20%. So you can imagine what my first question was. Do you own other properties? Because what smart lender out there is going to lend the last 20% and that person has no skin in the game? They're out there. There are ones that will do it. Mm-hmm. They're far and few between. And
it's easier even if you own your primary house so that they have some leverage for sure. Or if it's like a slam dunk amazing deal, like, that is just maybe even from the purchase. But I know it would be tough. So,
So you know what, Sarah, the other side to that is they don't have to own their own house, but sorry, I cut you off when I thought of it. I just did one not too long ago, a young new investor. He's in his 20s, but his dad has been doing stuff for a long time.
Okay.
But his dad was good enough to say, okay, you have some money, you can't do it, but I will allow my house. No, he didn't have any money. That one didn't have any money. I will allow my house to be the collateral. So you see, but his dad wasn't on the deal.
Right.
Like he wasn't purchasing. So there's so many ways you can kind of look at if somebody is open to thinking about all the opportunities. They don't have to know them. They just need to know who they should call to brainstorm them. And that's where I've made it clear to people, call me ahead of time. I spend many hours on the phone and Zoom meetings with people, more or less educating them so that when the right property is there, they're ready to pull the trigger just like that.
I think in this market, and then Alfonso, sorry, we're like talking at the same time, but it's more of just a comment, then Alfonso can ask his question. But I think as long as you have an exit strategy, like you have to know how you are exiting a deal that is costing you 12%, 15%, 8%, because you don't want to be holding that for years and years. Like these are quick deals with private money. You're in and you're out. You're doing a BRRRR, you're doing a flip, or you're doing some kind of conversion or adding value in some way with an exit. What I worry sometimes is people are like, oh, money, free money, money at 9%, money at 15%. You don't want to be keeping that. So what is the strategy to get out of that money? And then, is it to sell, or is it you're refinancing with an A lender, a B lender, like conventional financing? So just always something, and in a market right now that the interest rates are so low, that's great. But once things change, and they will at some point, it's cyclical, and rates start going up, and just make sure that you have an exit strategy that makes sense and a backup exit strategy.
But you know what? That story's never changed. Even when we say interest rates were higher, I mean, when we say higher, what? Maybe 2 points?
Thanks for listening to the REITE Club podcast, where the focus is on helping all levels of real estate investors advance to the next level and help you customize your life. Be sure to tune in next week at reiteclub.com/podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you get a few seconds, please rate the podcast wherever you're listening. It helps the show get noticed by others like you, and we truly appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe.